I have seen hundreds, thousands, maybe tens of thousands of patients over the last 50 years. And although I always write voluminous notes on patients, it's relatively rarely that I will want to write up their story. And with Greg, it was 14 years. It was only when I saw what happened at that Grateful Dead concert in September of '91 that I felt I had to write about him, and to write a piece which in a way climaxed with the Grateful Dead concert. So I moved ahead immediately after the concert. I wrote a piece and it was published in the New York Review, The Last Hippie, in March of '92. And subsequent to that, it was put in my book, An Anthropologist on Mars. I'd heard from the hospital social worker that Greg had a passion for music, especially the rock and roll bands of the 60s. I saw piles of records as soon as I entered his room, and a guitar lying against his bed. So now I asked him about this, and with this there was a complete transformation. He lost his disconnectedness, his indifference, and spoke with great animation about his favourite rock bands and pieces, above all of the Grateful Dead. I went to see them at the Fillmore East and in Central Park, he said. He remembered the entire programme in detail. But my favourite, he added, is Tobacco Road. The title evoked the tune, and Greg sang the whole song with great feeling and conviction, a depth of feeling of which hitherto he had not shown the least sign. He seemed transformed, a different person, a whole person as he sang. When did you hear them in Central Park? I asked. It's been a while, over a year maybe, he answered. But in fact they had last played there 8 years earlier, in 1969. And the Fillmore East, where Greg had also seen the group, did not survive the early 1970s. He went on to tell me he once heard Jimi Hendrix at Hunter College, and Cream. He'd heard Jimi Hendrix at Hunter College, and Cream, with Jack Bruce playing bass guitar, Eric Clapton lead guitar, and Ginger Baker, a fantastic drummer. Jimi Hendrix, he added reflectively, what's he doing? Don't hear much about him nowadays. We spoke of the Rolling Stones and the Beatles, great groups, Reg commented, but they don't space me out the way the Dead do. What a group, he continued. There's no one like them. Jerry Garcia, he's a saint, he's a guru, he's a genius. Mickey Hart, Bill Kreutzmann, the drummers are great. There's Bob Weir, there's Phil Lesh, but Pigpen, I love him. This narrowed down the extent of his amnesia. He remembered songs vividly from 1964 to 1968. He remembered all the founding members of the Grateful Dead from 1967, but he was unaware that Pigpen, Jimi Hendrix, and Janis Joplin were all dead. His memory cut off by 1970 or before. He was caught in the 60s, unable to move on. He was a fossil, the last hippie.